Welcome back, folks. Wherever you are, if you're in the office, just relaxing, hey, take a break. Welcome to Cup of Joe and share a cup with us. I'm about to share a cup with a couple of my favorite people. This morning, I don't have 3 Canal in the building. I have 2 Canal.
You have 2 out of 3 Canal.
2 out of 3. Yeah, 2 out of 3 not bad.
Ain't
bad at all. Roger Roberts and Wendell Manwarren is in the building, folks. And we're just going to talk. We're going to look back a little bit at the carnival season. I mean, you guys offer so much every year for the last, decade at least?
Yeah, more than
a decade.
20 years of Juve this year.
So long.
1994 to 2014. And
kind of
17 years of recording.
Yeah.
And this was our 11th show. 10 years of making a show.
10 years of making a show. Yeah. Grimy.
Yeah.
Every year you seem to come up with a new concept. You all seem to come up with a new concept. Tell me about Grimy. Where did Grimy come from in your head?
Grimy came from the space right now. How we feel about Trinidad, how a lot of people feel about the way things are progressing or rather not progressing, how things are not developing, how the lack of governance in the country and a lot of, the crime and all those issues.
All the things we deal with all the time. Because every year around this time, we are around preparing for Juve, you ask what's going on. You try to feel the pulse of what's going on.
Yeah.
And we have to start recording, and we started the whole process of recording. And it was actually a lyric that Stanton had. He says, "We live in grimy, blood all around, assassinations, heads on the ground. The rhythm of bullets now sounding good, and the murderous screams compliment them well." And I mean, even though our songs might have a big fat beat, it's really social commentary. And it's really looking at what's happening in the society and saying, this is the statement we're making this year.
Where is Stanton?
Stanton is playing cricket. As of the time,
he's a happy man.
What? Happiest man alive.
I'm having a nice coffee this morning.
Yeah, well, what about we?
What are you drinking? What are you drinking?
I'll have a regular coffee.
Regular coffee. And Roger?
I'll have a red wine.
This hour?
It's been a kind of crazy week. Everybody having red wine. Everybody drinking red wine. I've had at least...
Because he plays grimy.
That's
when it's a coke.
Rapso. Was that just your natural, from way back? Think of when in the early 90s, before you guys came about. Was Rapso a natural inclination for you guys, or did you want to do other types of music?
Well, we didn't even want to do music.
Yeah, music wasn't even an intention, really.
Serious.
I mean, we were involved in music from a long time, since in school.
Right.
But the idea of making songs and so on was not something that we decided, let's do that. That sort of was an offer made to us.
Yeah.
And even before that, when we were looking to launch our Juve band, we had a little performance that we did downstairs of Trinidad Theatre Workshop. And Brother Resistance and a lot of other people came, and Resistance came, and he was saying that what we were doing at the time was Rapso, because we had a drummer and we were just chanting over rhythms.
Right.
And then we had an offer to make a song by Rituals, the recording label that was in Trinidad at the time. And we did the first song.
Yeah,
it wasn't that we said, we go and make music.
And that's why I keep telling people, sometimes... I always had the desire to make music, but it was one of those precious dreams that you didn't dare express. But we were making mass, we were making theatre, we were involved, we were singing. And somebody saw the vibe, thanks, and encouraged us to make a song. And I mean, he persisted, Jean-Michel Gibert, thank God, he didn't let up. We said no, we weren't interested. We went off, we did the Olympics, came back, and he kept saying, no, you must make a song, you must make a song. And so we gave in, and that song literally changed our lives. It turned our world upside down.
Was that Blue?
Blue.
That was Blue.
Blue. Yeah. That still has a special place.
I think
every year you all sing that.
Actually, the first song we wrote was Blue Blue.
Right.
But when we presented it to him, he said, well, it's a nice song, but it's not a carnival song.
Yeah, too soft.
So he said, well, why don't you do a song about your Juve band? And that was Blue.
Right.
Because the band we were playing that year was Blue.
Now, I'll just go back even a little further from here, because I get the impression as well that you guys were connected even before.
Yeah,
from
school.
From school.
From St. Mary's College.
So. All of you? Stanton?
No, Stanton.
Just the two of you?
Stanton is a little longer than us, and he went to Northeastern, but we met him many years before when he came to town to buy a pair of shoes and ended up coming down by the Baggers Company and fell in and became a stagehand and joined the theatre fraternity backstage. John Isaacs, who was around in the 80s too, he was a man of theatre, man of mass, working in Minchell Mass Camp. Roger was the production manager in Minchell, I was the associate artistic
So what
director.
I'm asking really is how the collusion and everything
I think it all gelled through Minchell's
working in the mass camp
more than anything else, because Stanton was also working as a part of the production crew at the time.
Based on what you're saying, everybody was doing their separate thing.
Yeah.
So how did the
we
idea
were
come
singing,
about?
we were
Three
singing in
Canal?
The Three Canal idea came about in 1994 when we took myself, Wendell, and Steve Udit.
Right.
That painting behind
actually, yes, the painting behind there was done by Steve Udit. Visual artist, and we would get together and talk about the issues and art and young people and how do we make a change and just throwing out the ideas, reading the newspapers and getting damn vexed about what you're seeing.
And then we came up with Juxtapose. This was our first Juve band. We decided to make a Juve band because we thought that was a space that we could make a statement. We were already committed to Minshall and Big Mass, so Juve was a free space, and we were already jumping in people Juve band and storming people Juve band, getting throw out at people Juve band. So we decided it was time to do our own thing. And we did that for 3 years. And then we got the offer to make the song, and we made Blue, and then that was literally a whole other turning point in what we do.
It has grown.
Oh yeah,
it has grown. I've seen it grow. I've seen it grow. Yeah, literally.
I bounced up a guy the other day. He said, when all you first started, all it was real bad,
Yeah.
But all you stick with it. And I appreciate it because we were the first gig.
Just purely naive. A lot of energy, just throwing everything out. Not realizing you have to regulate it, and you have to have valleys and troughs, and performance.
Is it safe to say that you guys learned on the job?
Oh yeah. I always say, as an artist, you could only learn from doing. You can't learn from theorizing or practicing in your bedroom. You
even though
the audience.
we were no strangers to the stage in terms of theater, it's different to perform as an artist on a stage with a band of musicians behind you. It's a different thing altogether. Completely.
The production company then came along, and from as you said, when you were real bad back in the day.
Terrible. But
still
there was something there that there was still something.
Of course. And now, as I said, is full-blown productions that you guys put on. Now, tell me about the Cut and Clear production company. And how that all evolved.
Well, out of necessity, really, because we were doing production already. We'd been doing production with Bagger's company. We were doing production with Minshall. So once we started working with Rituals, it was natural for us to start doing production, and that kind of extended to all the rest of the artists in the yard. And then we started the Yard Vibes on a Friday night. And then the studio was right there, so we could just run in and do whatever we wanted. But the production company really came into its fruition when we started doing the show, because that was a big commitment to step up and take that financial risk. And we rented
it came out of necessity too,
because Rituals had folded.
To also to create our own platform for performance, because we recognized that we were not FET artists. We were not the artists that would be in the FET necessarily, even though one or two of the songs may have had that kind of energy. But we recognized that our music was very different. So we created our own platform for our performance so that people would come to us rather than wait for a promoter to hire us in a gig.
Free up from that, having to have a big song every year, and so you could eat our food, and which has impacted on the music over the years as far as I'm concerned, because people become less adventurous and less creative and try and create inside a very narrow zone to ensure they're in that 10-song matrix. But the matrix is an impenetrable one, and it has a net effect on dumbing down the music and the culture over time. And we've been at this 17 years, so we could see it happening,
I want to talk a little bit more about that when we come back and find out if Roger is going to actually run the New York Marathon again this year. Lots to talk about here on A Cup of Joe. 2 Canal is in the building.